Sports Sedan champion will lead the field with Ashley Jarvis right alongside his first time in the front row of the grid. Liam Hooper in the dark horse, that Nissan turbocharged. Shane Bradford out of Queensland, looking for a good result. Shane Woodman again, Tony Groves, Dean Cam, Michael Robinson, Francois Habib will get to the top 10 with the state championship leader, John Ippolito in the QP Lubes entry. A bit of a coming together, and that'll be Ben down the back there with into the back of the Camaro of Chaz Talbot, and Dean Cam has gone nowhere at the moment, so we've got a very crowded midfield. Leading the way is Jordan Caruso into turn 1. The two Victorian protagonists side by side, the 32 and the Landau Signs entry of Shane Woodman. These guys know how to win Victorian championships. Both of them want to win a national championship. They're going to remain side by side here.
Yeah, it looks like Liam's stuck back in the middle of the group there, Darren, as well. I don't think he's got the start that he initially wanted out of that. So hopefully he can get his, for us turbo guys, back to the front, Daz.
Yeah, certainly. Just watching Dean Cam, he looks to be motivated again. And I tell you what, when Dean drops to the back of the field, you better watch out, because he'll set 680 horsepower or thereabouts, give or take 15% or so in the Corvette. As we watch this is the guys just off the podium at the moment. Shane Bradford has pushed his way into P4. This is Shane Woodman, and right behind Michael Robinson. Then we've got
Tony Groves to Mason Kelly. So it's great to see that Mason Kelly got the start from where he finished. That makes life a little bit easier, as Tony Groves uses all that horsepower to leave some licorice straps out there.
Tell you what, that Nissan Altima is well and truly hooked up. No one would have that much data on a track for a car in this race, that's for sure, than what has come out of the Kelly Racing stable over the years. Great to see this young fella jumped out of a XL. And we're just going to have a quick look back at the start. Ash Jarvis, in the 44, the Colin Smith.
I reckon young Chaz might have just had a bit of a moment there. So Ben's given him a bit of a nudge and helped him along on his merry way. But hopefully they can sort that out.
Young Chaz.
Young
Chaz. He's got a big program this weekend. He's been racing in the 5,000.
And they're together again.
He's a genuine original Formula 5000 competitor. Loves his sports sedans over the last 3 decades, and there it is, the Camaro just coming up the straight, yellow stripe over the bonnet. Here's Liam. This is the Liam Hooper, Tasmanian number 10 Nissan. John Ippolito's doing a terrific job. Look at the 97. He's inside the 10 now, and he's got his fellow State Series protagonist right behind him at the moment. That car there of Greg Lynch took a win, his first win at Phillip Island early this year. It is not an ex-supercar. It is a bespoke-built sports sedan. He just liked the HRT livery, so that's what he has done. That's a real sports sedan. Francois Habib, who's currently sitting in 8th position in this race, and he's going to have the Liam Hooper Nissan all over the back of him. Doesn't appear to be doing what it did earlier on in the weekend, does it?
No, it's. I just looked then. It's just come through for a 1:16, so it's a decent chunk of time off what it was earlier on in the weekend. So I think maybe those guys, I did hear rumours that they had a bit of a misfire in race 1 today. So I think maybe we've got some gremlins coming in there.
Gee, I tell you what, Dean Cam's got a fair bit of angle on that rear wing for Sandown.
He does. It looks like he's wasting a lot of fuel out the exhaust there with fuel prices now too. So I think Disco Stu will be picking up some of those fumes, but definitely got a little bit of aero wound into that. But if you've got that much horsepower, you can use it.
Drive through it. There's a guy that knows how to tune a car. That is Damien Johnson in that Tirana. He starts to climb up the hill. That is Sandown. These guys here, it wouldn't feel like a hill, but when you're trying to push a 6-cylinder Tirana up to keep up with them, it's an LS1, I believe, in the Corolla there as well.
Yes, so. You're correct on that. So I think there's not many non-V8 powered cars out there today. So credit to those guys that are still flying the flag.
Yeah, certainly we're seeing the Nissan, the turbocharged car of Liam Hooper. We've got Daniel Johnson. We've also got Graham Gilliland in the number 21 orange Melton Bodyworks Bollards Direct RX-7, and you can tell it screams as it goes down the main straight. We just see these two cars, two Victorian champions, Chaz Talbot and Dean Cam, side by side. That's only going to end in tears.
It's two very young blokes there with young minds on their shoulders, so hopefully we can get a decent race out of those two.
That is.
Yeah, or the opposite. So yeah, look, two great guys that have been around sports sedans for a long time in some amazing machinery, and as you see here, Michael Robinson flying the flag, as he always does, on both Victorian, state and national sports sedans. So Michael puts in a lot of work behind the scenes to keep both classes running, not just state and not just national. So it's a credit to Michael and the whole team from the National Sports Sedan Series and Victorian Sports Sedan Series, along with Anne Gilliland down there, making sure everyone's fed. So thank you to everyone that's made sure we were fed too, Darren.
Big shout out to Anne Gilliland. She is the queen of sports sedans here in Victoria, and I know Gail Smith might like to wear that crown, but she has to take it off and give it to Anne every now and again to wear around. And we love what those ladies do for this category. They certainly... it's in their blood, and I reckon they'd like to take it out, but it's in there forever and ever, and they do a ripping job. This is turning into
a bit of a battle too now. It's,
isn't it?
You can see Bradford then just thought he would put the nose in there. I reckon it was a little bit of a long one.
I had a pretty honest conversation with Shane between races today, and he said, "Oh yeah, we've tuned up the gearing to an absolute standstill. We tried something," and he said, "Yeah, that's we're nowhere."
You have to be honest at some point.
We've gone nowhere. Hand up. A great bloke, and boy, he's been at the pointy end of national sports sedans for over a decade in this car now. In his own admission, it's a little bit heavier than what he'd like it to be. Certainly doesn't use a lot of the exotic materials that we see Shane Woodman use, the flat shift, the carbon fibre bits and pieces here and there. But geez, a ripping driver. Super fit race car driver, and I'm not. That's not funny. That's the real thing. He's commits himself to it. Does a lot of travel, as does the car just in front of him as well, with Colin Smith and Ashley Jarvis now driving that car and into P2. So Shane Bradford's going to have a challenge. Caruso a 107.76. We were just having a look coming onto
very close to that record that he set yesterday. So there's not much left in it, but boy, He's definitely got that championship trophy in his hands, and he's willing to add the lap record, which he did get yesterday, but might not add to it again.
You know you were amongst one of the fastest to ever gone around a track when you've got the sports sedan lap record, don't
when you take it off Ricciardello, you know you're doing well.
Well, that's exactly right. G'day to Tony. I know he's watching over in Western Australia. In fact, he's probably not now. He's probably scratching the hands and tearing his hair out, going, I could be with these guys. I can drop that lap record again. And you can catch up with what Tony's been up to on the Napa Auto Parts Grassroots Racing podcast. Check it out. Tony was the first guest on that podcast. As the field, 5 laps remaining, half race distance. Jordan Caruso, your 2022 Precision International National Sports Sedan Champion, leading the way over Ash Jarvis in the 44. We're mixed up here for positions 4, 5 and 6. Woodman, Robinson, Mason Kelly just off the back here. And gee, he's solving the problem with the right pedal there, getting up on the ripple strip and moving the car around on its back tyres. Tony Groves just off the back there. If anything untowards happens in these cars in front of him, he will be all over them.
He's just dropped off the back, but it is a good explanation of the state and national competitors. Here's Disco Stu nearly helping out Chaz with a little body realignment on the other side of the car.
Yeah, so Chaz might not have seen Stewie Eustace coming through there. Great to see that little escort as well, piling on the pressure to anyone around it. Really being driven very well by Aaron Hodges, doing a tremendous job.
Looks like there's a little bit of smoke coming from the back of Dean Cam's car there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to smoke during a race, actually.
It's Dino, you never know.
You never can tell. He's put down the Gatorade and just getting on with the job here in the number 66. This is the actual livery that this car ran in the Trans Am series as well. So car has been given a bit of a generous paint job and a bit of a clean-up in recent times, so it does look very, very good again out there on track. There's Johnny Pilotto. He's currently sitting in position number 12, gathering points, keeping the momentum going in the ASSA Victorian title. Coming to this round with 205. He's been doing a pretty good job, but Francois Habib has had the goods on him this weekend.
Yeah, I think it's just with these guys, I think it's the matter of making sure that he's bagging points. So obviously no one wants John to have any misfortune, but I think Francois is definitely there ready to pick up the points if there is any left on the table.
Yes, I think you're right. That's the last thing I wanted to see. The Damien Johnson Tirana, a synonymous silhouette with the early years of sports sedans here in Australia, and he is just rolling to a halt there. The S2 champion from a number of years ago, took that title a couple of times, travelled with the Kerrick series for numerous seasons with Andrea and did a tremendous job winning a couple of S2 championships. But wow, have a look at this battle. There's a couple of blokes, that BMW and that Monaro have won Victorian state championships, Neither of them have come up the trumps on the National Series, and both of them have been running in it for quite some time.
I think they've definitely both come close, if I'm
Oh,
correct.
very much so, yes.
So just a bad sportsmanship flag that we're seeing here added for car 16, which probably isn't the best of things to have hanging over you, but obviously there's a reason behind that.
I'm not sure what that is. That's Shane Woodman in the BMW coming down the straight now. He's number 16. I haven't seen anything untoward, but we'll wait and hear word on that. So we continue on. So whatever it was he was doing, it might be about going over curbs or something like that, Brett. That's sort of pretty much what happens these days.
I'm liking what Mason Kelly's doing here. He's just following the two guys in front, getting Miles. Miles in an amazing car, may I add. But just getting Miles, learning a thing from the guys in front of him. He's obviously got a heap of talent in his own pit garage, but it's great to see, just following around some sports sedan guys and enjoying being out here.
Have a look at DC. He dropped to the back. He is now absolutely flying. Dean Cam out of 11th, getting right up beside Greg Lynch now, who won a race earlier this year, gets the job done. He has got the bit between the teeth here in the 5-star fencing number 6. Driving the wheels off this Corvette as he does. Always grabs it by the throat, gives it a really good shake. It's what I like about how Dean goes racing. It's all the way to the checkered flag every single time. That's not what we wanted to see, is it? Damien Johnson parked up out of the car. He's got the shoulders down too. He's really pretty dejected.
It's never what you want to see. Damien puts in a lot of work behind the scenes to come away racing, and it's definitely not the... You don't want to see any competitor there, but it's definitely the last thing you want to see.
Here is our national champion. We're going to follow him home, and he is on a red-hot one there. He's keeping it out over the ripple strips. That's what you've got to do when you're going fast. Don't back off. Keep going fast. You back off, you make a mistake.
100%.
And this is what Jordan Caruso has done all throughout this season. And he is going to drive this one to the line. And there he is, gets it out. The first time he's cracked it sideways this season. He's kept it very straight and very, very honest. And Jordan Caruso just winds it down. A massive congratulations to Jordan and John Gourlay and all of the crew that John travels around the countryside with that Audi. These things are hard to win championships in. They are absolute bespoke. You can't just knock on the guy in the garage next to you and say, hey, have you got a spare one of these? No, I don't. Your car's different to mine in every single way.
100%. It's a credit to those guys. It's a credit to the whole sports sedan field, and definitely a credit to the national sports sedan guys for running around the country. They spend a lot of time on the road, and like you said, there's not many times you can go into the super cheap auto and get parts for these cars.
That's exactly right. Ash Jarvis comes home and deservedly into P2. He has driven a ripping series this year for Colin Smith in that magnificent Monaro. Shane Bradford home happily in the number 68 in P3. I'm not sure I'd be wrapped with that, but he'd be certainly happy to be on the podium in the final race for the day.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, shout out to Stephen Tomasi down there in the pits walking around. It's a shame to not see him out there taking it to Jordan. I know he definitely had some pace in that car on Friday, and obviously watching him run all over the country, it was definitely one of those years that could have been for him, but I know that family well, and I reckon they'll be back.
I was just about to say, do you reckon they're going to disappear? I don't think so. They're going absolutely nowhere. They will be back bigger, better and stronger, and they're one of those teams like John Gourlay's led team that they learn from what's gone on and they don't make the same 100%.
So looking forward to seeing what that battle comes up as next year, but I definitely know the Tomasi family won't be leaving anything on the table.
Yes, agreed. Michael Robertson home in position number 5 there. Mason Kelly, a good improvement from rear of grid into 6th position. Tony Groves flashing the headlights across the line there, dragging state championship points. Liam Hooper, I guess, goes away from this weekend wondering what might have been.